Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about the Toolbox killers, Lawrence Bittaker and Roy Norris. Lawrence Bittaker and Roy Norris are well known for the slaying of 5 teenage girls in just 5 months, in which they partaked in also recording some of their horrific torture and murder sessions for their own amusement. By 1978, Lawrence Bittaker and Roy Norris had become close prison acquaintances. Sharing a perverse obsession with sexual violence against women, Norris told Bittaker his biggest thrill was overwhelming women with fear and terror, and Bittaker confided that if he ever raped a woman, he would kill her to avoid leaving behind a witness. Fantasizing about sexually assaulting and murdering teenage girls, both men pledged that they would reunite once released and planned to murder girl of teenage year 13 through 19. Bittaker was released in November 1978 and Norris followed on January 1979. Within a month, Norris had raped a woman. Then, as promised, Norris received a letter from Bittaker and the pair met and began to put their twisted plan into action. Abducting teenage girls discreetly wouldn't be easy. They needed a suitable vehicle. Bittaker proposed a van. Norris put up the cash, and in February 1979, Bittaker purchased a silver 1977 GMC Vandura. The passenger side sliding door would allow them to pull up to potential victims without having to slide the door all the way. According to the book Disguise of Sanity, Bittaker also wanted to build a small town in which to imprison kidnapped teenage girls, where they would remain naked, chained, tortured, and forced into sex acts. Between late June and September 1979, the pair abducted, raped, and killed 4 teenage girls ranging in age 13 to 17. They drove their victims to the Mountain Fire Road, where they inflicted pain from their toolbox assortment. The girls' screams forever lost in the mountain canyons. After realizing manual strangulation wasn't as easy as the movies, Bittaker started using wire from a coat hanger tightened with pliers. They nicknamed their van the Murder Mac. The pair picked up over 20 hitchhikers from February to June 1979, but didn't assault these girls. Rather, these were practice runs, scouting for secure locations. In late April 1979, they found an isolated fire road in San Gabriel Mountains. Bittaker snapped the lock on the entry gate with a crowbar and replaced it with his own, according to the book Alone with the Devil. In final preparations, Lawrence Bittaker and Roy Norris created a toolbox for torture. They bought plastic tapes, pliers, ropes, knives, and ice pick, as well as Polaroid camera and a tape recorder. Then the Toolbox killers were ready to indulge in their sadism. The depravity increased for Andrea Hall, their second victim. Up in the mountains, Bittaker inserted an ice pick through her ear, then tried the other side and finally stomped on the handle until it snapped. Hall, miraculously, was still alive, was finally strangled by Bittaker, and when the pair were finished with her, they threw her over the mountainside. On September 2, 2 younger girls were snatched hitchhiking. 15-year-old Jacqueline Gilliam was continually raped by both men as Bittaker recorded her horror. Bittaker took photos of her in various states of naked distress, tormenting Gilliam by asking for a reason why he shouldn't kill her. Meanwhile, 13-year-old Leah Lamp was left untouched under sedation. After 2 days of terror, Bittaker thrust his ice pick through Gilliam's ear, then strangled her with his coat hanger and pliers. The Toolbox killers then rose lamp and plunged her on the head with a sledgehammer as she stepped from the van. Bittaker choked her and Norris struck her repeatedly with a hammer, with both girls' bodies finally thrown down a ravine. The repeated rape, unspeakable brutality, and horrific torture that Lawrence and Bittaker and Roy Norris inflicted on 16-year-old Shirley Ledford was all recorded for their sick enjoyment. Late on Halloween night 1979, Ledford left her restaurant shift toward a party. From a gas station, Ledford decided to walk or hitchhike home rather than go to the party, and she may have entered the van recognizing Bittaker as a customer from the restaurant. With Bittaker's tape recorder running, Ledford was immediately bound and gagged. For 2 hours, Ledford was subjected to agonizing trauma as the pair took turns alternatively driving the van, raping and torturing her. Bittaker repeatedly beat her with a sledgehammer, twisted and squeezed and tore at her breast and vagina with pliers, as both men encouraged her to scream louder for the tape. After Norris rained repeated hammer blows to her elbow, then strangled her with a coat hanger and pliers, Ledford can be heard begging for death. "Do it! Just kill me!" When Bittaker and Norris had finished with her, Shirley Ledford's body was left in a grisly display. They then decided to throw her body on a front lawn of a nearby house. Roy Norris revealed the pair's rapes and murders to another rapist he had been incarcerated with, including Ledford's murder, the only Toolbox victim yet to be found. Norris also confided that another woman had been raped by them but released afterwards. The man notified police via his attorney, and investigators matched reports several teenage girls reportedly missing over the previous 5 months to Norris' claims. There was also the September 30th report of a young woman dragged into a GMC van and raped by 2 men in their mid-30s. The rape victim was shown mugshots and positively identified Bittaker and Norris. Norris was arrested for rape at his motel the same day. The search of Norris's apartment revealed a bracelet of Ledford's, while in Bittaker's motel room, police found numerous photographs and other incriminating evidence. Investigators seized and searched Bittaker's silver van, where they seized several items, including several cassette tapes on which contained Ledford's torture. Ledford's mother confirmed it was her daughter on the recording, screaming, pleading, and begging for her life. Investigators confirmed the voices on the belonged to Bittaker and Norris. Norris initially denied all accusations, then faced with the evidence, confessed to 5 murders. Norris, seeking a plea deal to testify against Bittaker, took investigators into the San Gabriel Mountains, where the skulls of Gilliam and Lamb were found. Gilliam's skull contained the lodged ice pick, and Lamb's skull showed blunt force trauma. Roy Norris pleaded guilty, sparing him to death penalty, and May 7, 1980 was sentenced to 45 years to life, with parole eligibility from 2010. Norris testified about their shared history and the 5 murders committed by them. Introducing photograph evidence, a witness from Bittaker's motel testified that he had been shown naked photos of distressed girls by Bittaker and told one of them had been killed. So guys, this is really and truly brutal brutality at its best. I mean, these guys are so crazy, sick in the head. I mean, they had been doing practice runs on potential victims of them, and still I am in wonder though, like those persons who had been on that bus, if they didn't like see any weirdness in these kind of people, or they were just good actors. I mean, if they could actually see any weirdness in these persons, right, I think that they could have been locked up by that time. But it seems like they knew how to play their cards right, because they stated that they were doing some practice runs. So they did some practice to see how those persons would actually act, because they didn't try to harm them in any way or anything. They just watched how they approach them. So they got ideas of how they would go about their potential victims that they would like to torture, rape, and also kill. It's very sad, guys, and in these times parents just have to be very careful with their children these days when they're going out to school. And I believe that children should be given, teenagers also should be given a mobile phone where they can interact with their colleagues, friends, or families to tell about their whereabouts, and you know, if they're going out, where they're going to, and you know what spot they are, or send the location of where they are, because in these times it's very, very, very terrible. We are living in the last days now, so I can imagine how these parents felt to know that they cannot see their children anymore, because they have been taken away by some psychopaths who don't think about the consequences of their actions. And those persons also have their own families, friends, and they won't harm them, but they prefer to harm strangers, others that they don't actually know. It's really sad, and my condolence also goes out. I know it has been a long time that these persons have been passed away, but you know, it's very nerve-wracking to know. So guys, you can put your comments in the comment section, of what you think about this true story about these toolbox killers, right? So until then, stay tuned for more updates.